Welcome once again, and in this video I would want us to explain example 10 of algebra 8 of IGCSE 9-1 mathematics. The question is already solved and I want to explain each and every step, and the question is asking us find the range of a function which is talking about x squared, and the range of another function, part B, of x squared plus 2. And we have very important statement here. The domain is a real number. The domain being a real number means we can have negative numbers across 0 and as well as positive numbers. And in part A, you realize that the function is simply x squared. And one of the things that I want us to understand or even remember is that any number that is squared will always be positive, and the least of any squared number is actually 0. And this happens when x itself is 0, such that when you take x to be -3, -3 squared is 9. When you take x to be -2, -2 squared is 4. When x is -1, y is 1, -1 squared, which is 1. When x is 0, now 0 squared is 0, and that is the value of y. And again, when x takes the positive position, the values of y start repeating themselves. When x is 1, y is 1. When x is 2, y is 2. And this is a perfect case of many-to-one function, such that x can be of many values, but they are always going to give us the same value of y. For example, when x is -2, y is -2 squared, which is 4. At the same time, when x is 2, y is the same 2 squared, which is also positive 4. Now, the question is find the range. The range is the values of y. And we have understood that the values of y will never be negative because anything squared is positive and the least can be 0. So, by plotting the graph, which is here, when x is -3, y is 9. When x is -2, y is 4. When x is -1, y is 1. But when x is 0, y is 0. When we come to the positive values of x, when x is 1, y is 1. When x is 2, y is 4. When x is 3, y is again 9. And the graph is as you see it. In other words, it is the graph of y is equals to x squared. And the range now, to answer the question, what are the values of y? The range is y is greater than or equals to 0, because the values of y start from 0 upwards. Let's now come to part B of the question. Part B of the question, the function is x squared plus 2, meaning that upon x squared, add 2. And we can do so by just having a plot or to tabulate this information such that when x is -3, -3 squared is 9, 9 plus 2, 11, minus 2 squared is 4, 4 plus 2, 6, minus 1 squared is 1, plus 2, 3. When x is 0, 0 squared is 0, and 0 plus 2 is now 2. When x is 1, 1 squared is 1, plus 2 is 3 again. From here to the right, the values start repeating themselves. Plotting a graph of this, we come here. This is x-axis, y-axis. When x is -3, y is 11. When x is -2, y is 6. When x is -1, y is 3. When x is 0, y is not 0 this time round, even when 0 squared is 0, but we are always adding 2 to the squared number. 0 plus 2 is 2, so y is 2. When x is 1, 1 squared is 1, plus 2, y becomes a 3. So the coordinate 0, 2 becomes the turning point. This graph does not drop to the origin. It turns at the point 0, 2, and therefore the domain of this function is y is greater than or equals to 2. The values of y will always start from here moving upwards, because the graph itself is y is equals to x squared plus 2. It is a case of addition outside, vertical translation of 2 points, whereby all y values, it is a case of addition outside, whereby all y values of the graph y is equals to x squared, you keep adding 2, and therefore this is now the turning point. And you can see now, attempting to answer this question, y is always greater than or equals to 2. That is the answer to this part of the question, part B, and this is the answer to part A, and there we go. So that is it. Find the range of this function. We can answer this question by talking about y is greater than or equals to 0, and for this one, y is greater than or equals to 2, and those are the solutions. Thank you, and let us meet in the next video.